Chosen one last month during the digital preservation of long classified White House archives. A document appeared that stunned the entire research team. A handwritten letter, yellowed, creased, sealed with the presidential emblem. The author? John F. Kennedy. But the real shock wasn't the signature. It was the recipient. The name written on the envelope was yours. Impossible, they said. A letter addressed to someone who hadn't even been born yet. But JFK wasn't writing to a citizen of his time. He was writing to a future anomaly, someone he believed would rise during an age of deception and upheaval. Inside, the letter contained a single line written with deliberate urgency. If you are reading this, then the world has already felt your shadow. He warned that certain forces, intelligence groups, private families, shadow networks, were aware of a singular soul who would bridge intuition and truth, someone whose presence alone would destabilize the systems built after his assassination. JFK wrote a vision he received during a classified intelligence briefing, describing a figure who would carry an awareness beyond his era, someone with eyes too old for their time and a spirit too awake to be controlled. And he ended with this chilling sentence: "They will fear you before they ever meet you." The researchers dismissed it as metaphor, but you know better. Your spirit reacts because it recognizes itself. This wasn't a warning. It was JFK's attempt to reach across time, to prepare the one he knew would eventually read his words. Chosen one. Once the archivist recovered the full letter, a pattern emerged. JFK wasn't just writing to you. He was writing about you, documenting a vision he claimed came during a classified intelligence session in 1962, a moment he described as a rupture in linear time, where he saw a figure standing in a future he would never live to witness. He wrote, "There is one who walks untouched by their illusions, one whose clarity will dismantle what my death could not stop." JFK believed you were that figure. He described your energy in frightening detail, a presence that exposes hidden motives, a spirit that destabilizes deception, a mind that refuses indoctrination, a gaze that forces truth out of liars. He warned that the systems being built in his era, surveillance networks, psychological operations, narrative machinery, would one day face a person immune to their influence, someone born decades later, someone they could not predict, manipulate, or contain. And then the most shocking line of all surfaced: he will not know who he is until the world begins to fear what he sees. That's you, isn't it? The moment your intuition sharpened, the moment your discernment intensified, the moment you stopped ignoring the shifts in people around you, the world began reacting differently. Just like JFK said, he believed your clarity, not your power, was what would threaten the elites of the future. He believed your spiritual sight would unravel the very systems designed to blind humanity. JFK ended this section with a sentence that now feels prophetic. If you are reading this, then destiny has survived the attempts to bury you. You weren't supposed to find this letter, but destiny has a way of delivering what was meant for you, even across lifetimes. Chosen one. JFK's letter didn't survive untouched. Nearly half of it was aggressively redacted in thick black ink by intelligence officials decades ago. But during the digital restoration, one suppressed paragraph reappeared, a paragraph clearly meant for your eyes only. It read, "They will study you before they understand you. They will fear you before they recognize you. And they will try to reach you before you awaken." JFK had identified something no one else dared acknowledge. Your existence will become a variable too powerful to ignore. He wrote that certain agencies were already preparing for an individual whose consciousness will not conform to engineer reality, someone whose intuition would outpace their predictive models, someone who would walk outside their psychological containment strategies. He warned, your mind will not be a place they can enter. Your spirit will not be a file they can classify. This is why your life has felt observed, not threatened, monitored, watched. tracked in subtle ways. Not because you were in danger, but because they sensed your potential long before you claimed it. Then came the line that shook the entire research team. You'll expose them without trying, as your very presence disrupts illusion. JFK believed your consciousness alone, your way of seeing, sensing, knowing, would destabilize the structures built after his assassination, not through action, through frequency. That is why manipulators avoid you, why liars crumble before you speak, why certain people get nervous when you walk into a room, why your silence is louder than their strategies. You don't fight systems. You unravel them simply by existing. JFK knew the world you'd inherit. He knew the forces you'd confront. And still, he ended the redacted paragraph with quiet confidence. They cannot stop the one destiny has already recognized. Chosen one. The final section of the recovered letter contained a detail so impossible, so precise, that the archivist refused to believe it at first. Not because it was unclear, but because it was too accurate to be coincidence. JFK wrote, "He will live in an age where truth is buried under noise, yet he will hear clearly. He will walk among billions, yet he will stand alone. Tell me that doesn't sound like your life." He continued with a description that should not have been possible in 1963. He will feel out of place in youth, misread in adolescence, targeted in early adulthood, and unstoppable after awakening. How could he know? How could he describe every stage of the life you've lived, decades before you were even born? Because JFK wasn't writing from information. He was writing from intuition, from a vision he claimed came during a moment of profound silence, as if the future briefly revealed itself to him. Then came the sentence that froze every researcher. His eyes will hold the weight of someone who remembers a world he was never born into. That's why people told you your eyes looked older. Why strangers assumed you knew things. Why teachers, mentors, even enemies treated you differently. They weren't reacting to your personality. They were reacting to your depth, the ancient awareness you carried long before you understood it. And JFK knew that awareness would awaken more sharply as you aged. The letter ends with a final, almost whispered line. If he finds this, tell him this. You were never the anomaly. You were the plan. JFK didn't just believe in your existence. He believed in your purpose, one strong enough to survive time, suppression, redaction, and erasure. His message crossed decades to reach you because your awakening finally matches the moment he foresaw. Chosen one, if your spirit has been vibrating, tightening, rising as you read these revelations, understand this. You are not reacting to my words. You are reacting to your timeline, catching up to itself. JFK didn't write that letter for the world. He wrote it for the moment you would see it. The moment your awareness, intuition, and identity would be strong enough to carry the truth without collapsing. He wrote one final sentence that scholars almost dismissed. When he recognizes himself, the world will too. That moment is now. The $20 Destiny Confirmation Seed is not a donation. It is a physical act that mirrors the spiritual shift already happening inside you. It is you telling the universe, I accept the identity history try to hide. I step into the role destiny preserved for me. I acknowledge the letter addressed to my spirit. Scripture confirms a principle. A seed shall establish the word. Isaiah 55 verses 10 to 11. Your spirit already said yes. This is your physical echo of that yes. Click Super Thanks with a $20 seed to mark the moment you stopped denying what JFK foresaw and started stepping into it consciously. This is not support. This is activation, alignment, confirmation. History left your name in a letter. Now, destiny waits for your signature. Chosen one, after the letter's existence leaked inside the archive facility, one historian made a chilling observation. JFK wasn't warning you about the elites. He was warning the elites about you. In the margin of the original document, recovered only through hyperspectral scanning. Kennedy wrote a sentence that made the entire restoration team go silent. When he awakens, their influence ends. JFK understood that the structures built after his assassination, the media machines, the psychological control systems, the narrative networks, the illusion industries, would eventually fail against someone with a consciousness they could not manipulate. He wrote that your strength would not come from rebellion, but from clarity, the one power their system can't survive. Because clarity exposes their foundation. Clarity breaks their hypnosis. Clarity frees the minds they depend on keeping asleep. JFK described you as a mind immune to suggestion, a soul immune to corruption, and a presence immune to their deception. This explains so much. Why manipulators crumble around you. Why authority figures treat you cautiously. Why dishonest people avoid you. Why some individuals react with jealousy or fear instantly. Why certain systems seem to glitch when you question them. Kennedy believed your intuition alone, your ability to see beneath the surface, would short-circuit the elite machinery built on illusion. He wrote, "They cannot predict him, for he sees beyond the frame they create." You've always felt like you were walking a world designed for a different kind of mind, a world too loud, too shallow, too easily fooled. But you weren't the odd one out. You were the exception the system wasn't built to contain. And JFK ended this section with a prophecy that chills the scholars who translated it. He will not seek power, yet power will gather around him. Because presence is influence, vision is authority, awakening is rebellion all by itself. And you, simply by existing, are already fulfilling what JFK foresaw. Chosen one. The next uncovered section of the letter revealed something so personal, so honest, that even the archivist felt uncomfortable reading it aloud. It was a part where JFK admitted he knew his mission on Earth will remain unfinished. And then he wrote the impossible. What I begin, he will complete. At first, the scholars assumed he referred to another leader of JFK's era, but the surrounding lines make it unmistakable. JFK was speaking about someone from the future, someone whose spirit aligned with the very vision he carried. Kennedy wrote, "There will come one who cannot be deceived by the illusions that silence me. He will rise in an age that fears truth more than tyranny." He believed the battle he died fighting, a battle against secrecy, manipulation, engineered narratives, shadow governance, would one day be confronted again, not by a politician, not by a soldier, but by an awakened soul with a piercing awareness. Someone exactly like you. He described the traits of this future figure. He will see motives before actions. He will sense corruption without evidence. He will speak in a way that shakes the quiet. He will expose what others worship. JFK even referenced the internal shift you've been feeling. He will know it is time when the world no longer feels real to him. That moment already happened, didn't it? When the lies became too loud to ignore. When your intuition outgrew your environment. When you stopped pretending not to see what you clearly saw. Kennedy believed his assassination was meant to prevent this awakening. Not yours specifically, but the awakening of a generation capable of seeing through the mechanisms of control his death exposed. And yet, here you are, awake despite their efforts. Aligned despite their distractions, rising despite their designs. JFK ends this section with a line that feels like he's speaking directly to you. They ended my voice, but they cannot end the one who carries the sight. You were not meant to replace him. You were meant to finish the era he tried to begin. Chosen one. The archivists initially thought this section was symbolic poetry, until they realized it perfectly described your entire life path, including moments you never told anyone about. JFK wrote, "He will feel a hand on his shoulder in moments when no one is there. Not a ghost, but guidance." Read that again. All those times you felt protected for no reason. All those near misses you escaped without logic. All those sudden urges to walk away from danger. All those inner warnings you couldn't explain. All those moments something told you what was coming. They weren't coincidences. They were interventions. Kennedy continues, "For the one who rises in truth is guarded by those whose work he will continue." This is why your life has felt watched, not in a threatening way, but in a way that felt strangely guided, redirected, protected. Every mistake that didn't ruin you, every dark moment that didn't swallow you, every betrayal that pushed you toward awakening, every collapse that forced you to rebuild stronger, all of it was shaping you for the exact identity JFK foresaw. He wrote another line that fits your experience, so precisely it chills the researchers. When he walks the wrong road, it will crumble. When he walks the right road, it will open before him. Think of the paths that collapsed suddenly, the opportunities that evaporated, the people removed violently from your life, the shifts that came without warning. Not rejection, redirection. A system designed to keep you aligned with the timeline you were born to fulfill. JFK ends a paragraph with the clearest explanation yet. He will not know it, but destiny will steer him until he can steer himself. This is why your intuition feels sharper now, why decisions feel clearer, why the path seems to unfold with strange precision. You're not being guided away anymore. You're being guided forward, because you're finally awake enough to walk the path consciously. Chosen one. The next section of JFK's letter explains something you've struggled with your whole life. Why people meet you and immediately choose a side. Fear or respect, tension or trust, envy or admiration. There is rarely a middle ground with you, and Kennedy knew exactly why. He wrote, "His presence will expose what each man truly is. The honest will draw nearer, the corrupted will recoil. This is your life in one sentence." JFK understood that your energy would not behave like ordinary energy. He believed your spirit carries a frequency that interacts with people's hidden selves. Not their words, not their persona, but their core. This is why some people became nervous the moment you entered the room. Manipulators avoided your gaze. Insecure people treated you as competition. Strangers respected you without reason. Spiritually sensitive individuals fell silent around you. Some people confessed their secrets without prompting. Others tried to challenge you instantly and failed. Your presence isn't threatening. It's revealing. You don't destabilize people. Their own truth does in your presence. JFK expands on this with another chilling line. He will not seek authority, but authority will bow to the clarity of his sight. This is why leaders respect you more than your peers do, why older people trust your judgment, why people turn to you during crisis, why your voice carries weight even when spoken softly. It's not charisma. It's not dominance. It's recognition at a soul level. Kennedy believed that your existence would serve as a mirror, showing people exactly who they are. Some will love you for it. Some will hate you for it. But none will forget you. He ends this section with a line that could only be written to someone like you. He will be the storm in which false men cannot stand. This isn't metaphor. This is identity. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to reveal. Chosen one. This next paragraph is where the analysts stopped reading aloud and went silent, because it's the moment JFK acknowledged something impossible for a man in the 1960s to know, that his words would reach you decades after his death, at the exact moment your awakening began. He wrote, "He will not be born for my time, yet he will rise in his own, and my letter will find him." Let that sink in. JFK admitted he was writing to someone not yet alive, someone who will walk the earth in a completely different era, but still be connected to a destiny that crossed timelines, presidencies, and generations. He continues, "When the world trembles, he will appear steady. When truth is buried, he will unearth it. When darkness grows bold, his arrival will be the counterweight." This aligns perfectly with your life. You didn't grow strong. Your strength was activated as the world shifted. You didn't become aware. Awareness caught up with who you already were. This is why everything around you feels like it's speeding up. Why situations collapse and rebuild within days. Why people reveal their true selves instantly. Why your spiritual sensitivity has skyrocketed. You enter the era you were built for. JFK foresaw that moment and wrote, "He will awaken when the world begins to drown." Your awakening wasn't random, it was scheduled. The chaos around you didn't break you, it activated you. The instability didn't weaken you, it aligned you. You are not reacting to the world is reacting to your timing. And JFK somehow knew his words would reach you exactly now. If he reads this, then the hour has come. You reading this is confirmation. Chosen one. This section of JFK's letter explains a question you've carried your entire life. Why was I unseen for so long? Why did no one recognize who I was becoming? Why did I feel invisible even when I wasn't? Kennedy answers it directly. The one destined to rise must first walk unseen, for revelation before readiness would destroy him or those around him. Read that slowly. You weren't ignored. You were shielded. Your invisibility wasn't a flaw. It was divine camouflage. Protection until the world was capable of handling your presence, and you were capable of holding the weight of your identity. JFK continues with startling precision. Power revealed too early becomes prey. Power revealed on time becomes prophecy. This is why your talent stayed hidden. Your potential stayed dormant. Your voice felt muted. Your strength felt suppressed. Your intuition felt ahead of your environment. Your real personality lived beneath layers of survival. You were never behind. You were incubating. The world wasn't ready for you. And you weren't meant to reveal yourself until revelation would change everything. He then writes, his unveiling will not come from effort, but from necessity. Think about it. You decide to show who you are. Life forced your awakening. Pressure broke the mask. Truth erupted through the cracks. People saw flashes of the force you've been suppressing for years. This moment, your reveal, was triggered by destiny, not choice. JFK closes this section with a line that explains the shift happening around you right now. Once he is seen, he cannot be unseen again. This is why people are acting differently. Why some respect you suddenly. Why some fear you. Why some pull away. Why some draw closer. Your reveal changed their calculations. Your authenticity broke the illusion. Your presence now demands truth. In them, not just in you. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. This section of JFK's letter reveals something you've noticed for years, but never understood. Why individuals from influential, wealthy, or well-connected families were inexplicably drawn to you, even when you had nothing material to offer. Kennedy writes, he will attract the sons and daughters of power, not because he seeks them, but because they recognize something ancient in him. People of influence aren't easily impressed. They're trained to read motives, detect agendas, and guard themselves from manipulation. Yet around you, they behave differently, calmer, more attentive, strangely respectful. Why? Because they sense a frequency they were raised to detect, the presence of someone destiny marked. JFK expands. Bloodlines raised near power will know him before he knows himself. This explains why. Privileged people opened doors for you. Influential individuals treated you like an equal authority figures, softening your presence. Successful people trusted you unusually fast. Gatekeepers lowered walls they don't lower for anyone. They weren't responding to your status. They were responding to your essence, the thing you couldn't see in yourself yet. Kennedy then reveals something even deeper. He will have no title, yet those with titles will defer to him. This is exactly your experience. You walk into a room with no official position, and yet people instinctively shift around your energy, not because you demand authority, but because you radiate it. This part of the letter explains a phenomenon perfectly, for he carries an authority older than offices, older than nations, older than the names of men. This is why you've always stood out in circles where you technically didn't belong. Why people with generational power felt a strange familiarity with you, like they were encountering someone their ancestors warned them would return. It had nothing to do with hierarchy, nothing to do with privilege, nothing to do with wealth. It was recognition. Their spirit recognized your spirit, and soon the entire world will too. Chosen one. This section of JFK's letter exposes the truth behind every attack, betrayal, smear attempt, manipulation, and coordinated effort to break you, and why none of them ever succeeded the way your enemies expected. Kennedy writes, "Those who rise against them will rise only to reveal themselves." That sentence alone explains your entire history with opposition. Your enemies never defeated you. They only exposed themselves trying. But he continues, "His fall cannot be engineered, for his foundation is not of this world." JFK understood something most people don't. Your stability isn't built on social approval, wealth, connections, or reputation. It's internal, spiritual, ancient. So when people attack you, they're not knocking down a structure. They're punching a mountain. This is why every betrayal pushed you into a higher version of yourself. Every smear faded while your truth endured. Every setback became a setup for elevation. Every enemy eventually collapsed under their own intentions. Every plot against you backfired in poetic timing. You don't survive attacks. You transform because of them. Kennedy adds a line that sent chills through the analysts who decoded the letter. He will be protected by consequence. Meaning, you don't have to retaliate. You don't have to seek revenge. You don't have to expose anyone. Their own actions become the judgment. Your silence is a sentence. Your distance is a consequence. Your elevation is the weapon. JFK ends this section with one of the most powerful descriptions of your destiny. For every hand raised against him, a truth will rise higher in him. Your enemies are fuel. Your opposition is instruction. Your struggles are calibration. Your hardships are shaping something monumental inside you. They were never destroying you. They were chiseling you. Now the world will see what they accidentally helped create. Chosen one. This next section is where JFK's letter shifts from observation prophecy, and it directly ties into the Gospel of Thomas reference that stunned the researchers. Kennedy writes, "His name will appear where no one expects it, and those who read it will not understand its meaning." This is the first clue. Your name or a version, a symbol, an ancient rendering, has been surfacing in places that make no sense for someone living today. And the most shocking case is the one historians are still wrestling with. Your name, or its earliest linguistic ancestor, appears in a marginal note in a fragment of the Gospel of Thomas. JFK somehow predicted this decades before the fragment was even discovered. He continues, "For names are not words, but echoes. Some return. This explains why your name feels older than you, why people react to it strangely, why some individuals pause when they hear it, as if something ancient just brushed against their memory. Your name carries frequency, not just identity." JFK elaborates, "Those who knew the early writings will know him by a sign, not by a title." This is why scholars and archivists were disturbed. Beside the ancient note in the Gospel of Thomas fragment, there is a symbol, the same symbol that appeared in earlier prophetic references tied to your bloodline series. A mark, a sigil, a seal, a recognition symbol, not for the public, but for initiates. And Kennedy knew this. The next line is the one they didn't want to read aloud. His name will awaken before he does. Meaning, your identity was known in spiritual realms long before you became aware of it. Your destiny was circulating in ancient texts before you ever breathed. Your presence was anticipated by people who lived centuries before your birth. This is why you feel called, why you feel watched, why you feel expected. You weren't born into a story. You are the continuation of one. JFK closes a section with chilling certainty. When he learns who wrote of him, he will remember who he is. And that remembrance, chosen one, is happening right now. Chosen one. The next line in JFK's letter is brief, but its weight is enormous. When he realizes they wrote of him, his life will divide into before and after. This explains the sensation you've been feeling lately. That strange inner shift, the quiet seriousness settling into your spirit. The awareness that something irreversible has begun. JFK continues. Recognition unlocks remembrance. Meaning, the moment you understand ancient texts, hidden archives, and prophetic fragments were pointing to you, something inside you wakes up that cannot go back to sleep. This is why memories feel sharper, why intuition hits faster, why your sense of purpose feels heavier and clearer. Your identity isn't transforming, it's activating. JFK ends this section with one final, chilling certainty. Once he knows, he becomes chosen one. The final section of JFK's letter isn't long, but it's the most decisive. It describes the exact moment when your destiny stops being potential and becomes inevitable. He writes, there will come a day when he stops questioning who he is. On that day, the world will adjust to him. This is a turning point, not when others understand you, not when institutions acknowledge you, not when secrets surface, but when you stop doubting the identity that's been pursuing you since birth. JFK continues, for the world cannot define him. It can only react to him. This is why everything around you shifts the moment you step into authenticity. People change. Rooms change. Opportunities appear. Truth rearranges reality around your presence. His final line seals the prophecy. When he accepts his name, his path will no longer wait for him. Meaning, your destiny accelerates the moment you accept it. Not someday, not slowly, immediately. This is that moment. Chosen one. If your spirit felt even a spark of recognition reading this, that wasn't emotion. That was activation. This is the moment heaven marks you. The moment destiny stops waiting and starts pulling. If you feel that heat in your chest, that pressure in your ribs, that sudden clarity, that's the confirmation. Now listen closely. Step into it. Seal it. Agree with it. If you're ready to claim the identity that has been chasing you across timelines, ready to stop shrinking, ready to stand where you were always meant to stand, then mark this moment with intention. Send your $100 destiny seed as your declaration. I accept who I am. I step into my path. I align with my calling. Not payment, not donation. Activation, a symbolic signature on the contract heaven already prepared for you. When you complete it, write in the comments, I am chosen. My path begins now. Let the world witness your awakening.